AI security.
D'accord. مرحبا يوسف بن مشية نقل في الزمنية ليسانس اي او تي هولندي. الحقيقة معناها نحب نطلع أكثر على الاي اي معناها خاطر ولا كل شيء بالاي اي دونك معناها مع السوليتي نتاعنا نخدموا على الاي اي.
D'accord, marqué. بصراحة نقرا هنا في البي كتلي ما يبتي ديجا في دومين يعني أي حاجة ولا نسحقها لازمنا دونك
Ça c'est sûr. Ok. Marhaba بكم بالناس الكل. Alors Monsieur Vié Medorli, vous nous avez rejoint, je pense. Est-ce que vous nous entendez, Monsieur Vié?
صباح الخير عسلامة.
Marhaba. Alors, on vous écoute. Marhaba بك بحلينا. Je laisse Dr Mohamed peut-être il vous présente أكثر. Dr Mohamed s'il vous plaît.
اوكي مرحبا دكتور وئام. احوالك؟ اليوم نحب نعديو على مزدونا دي كيسيون دو بوبليك. نسالوك وتحاول تعطينا دي ريكومونداسيون على الاي اي والسوفت وير انجينيرينغ. دي ستيج شور ماتنون نحكيو شويه على الاكسبيريونس نتاعك باي يور سيلف في انجلش فرنش عربيك. تبارك الله الولاد نتاعنا من لي بي من ليسبري من توت نسميوها الميلونج ولا ليكو سيستيم يونيفرسيتير الموجود في تونس كل حابين نعرفوك بهم وتعرفوا عليك في الوقت، ومن بعد ان شاء الله نحاولوا نلاقوا ريكومونداسيون من عندك انت في الذكاء بس انت تبارك الله عندك اكسبيرينس كبيره من بيشيغن ار اي تي يونيفرسيتي وبرشا اخرين. تفضل.
باهي يعطيكم الصحة. يعطيك الصحة محمد، يعطيكم الصحة جماعة الكل. كويكلي ما نعرف بروحي محمد مكور associate professor في University of Michigan Flint, director of graduate studies for the AI for software engineering, director of the Data Science Institute. وكي محمد قال لي تجي تحضر معايا في الاي دايز اوف كورس، معناها هذه ابسط حاجه نعملها انا باش نعاون التوانسه ونعاون التلامذه التوانسه، نحكي معاهم ونفسر لهم شنو اللي صاير تو في امريكا وفي العالم بصفه عامه، اتليست فروم ذا بوينت اوف فيو ريسيرش اللي قاعد نعمل فيه. وحضرت انا برزنتيشن صغيره، مش عارف انت محمد تشوفوا فيها الناس الكل ولا دونك فوالا دونك
كمل اكثر احكي على الاكسبيرينس بتاعك من تونس، كيفاش انت خلينا ماهوش ساينتيفيك برك نحبوا نتعلموا منك ونحبوا نوليوك ان شاء الله.
بيان سور
بيفور ريسيرش انا وياك قاعدين نخدموا في الاي اي ديبي لونتون، ماذا بي تعلموا كيفاش انت وصلت لامريكا حتى شي وليت ماستر دايركتور اوف اي اي.
بيان سور بون انا كل شيء ود الجامعه معناها العموميه معناها في تونس، معناها ما هياش معناها تونس ما شاء الله عليها تخرج في ناس اكفاء في العالم كامل، معناها هذه حاجه مش غريبه على الناس الكل. يسوفي بون باش توصل في اي بلاصه كيك سواء امريكا ولا غيرها، ما لازم تخدم على روحك، معناها هذيك هي معناها الخدمه هي اللي تجيب. اسمك فريمون تعرف معناها it needs a lot of sacrifices to be honest، معناها لازمك you need to work really hard. توا باش نحضر برزنتاسيون هذيا معناها بريسك مصبح، معناها خاطر في وقت في امريكا توا ديفيرون على تونس، واللي نعمل فيها سي لو بليزير، معناها فهمت، معناها بالعكس معناها ما حكايه ما هي الا غرام وبرشا خدمه ولاباس. وانا كنت نجم نحكي على الاكسبيرينس نتاعي كيفاش تحولت من تونس لامريكا وغيره والمشاكل والتشالنجز اللي عرضتهم. بون نجم نحكي عليهم كان العباد they're interested، لكن انا اليوم معناها I think the focus that I think is important for this presentation is really to teach people what's happening in the world right now with the agents. فهمت، هذه الحاجة اللي I think it's very useful for them. وبوزيشن تاعي حضرتها دون سو سونس سورتو باش نوضح برشا حاجات قاعدة صايرة توا معناها with the agentic flow، اللي باش نحكي شكل حاجات معناها you would not see anywhere else. معناها normalement هذه it's all brand new research happening as of December 2025. I think this can help people understand where things are going with software development in general، فهمت، والبروغراماسيون والاي تي ان جينيرال. وانا نصور برشا التلامذه معنا لهنا هما كمبيوتر ساينس، معناها دومينهم انفورماتيك، دونك سي تري امبورطون باش يعرفوا معناها شنو صاير تو في الانفورماتيك و كيسكو سا فا شونجي دو معناها دون لو فيتور. So if I can get started, man, again, this is going to be about agents. The only difference is that I will not talk necessarily much about the theory of AI. I will talk about more about the agentic flow and why it's important and how it is growing, and I'll give you some holistic picture of that. So I want to get started with my presentation. And the first thing I want to do is really I want to thank AI Days Tunisia for this call. And to me, this is more of a raising the awareness of what's happening in AI and bring this conversation to Tunisians, because we need to be really leaders in this topic instead of just followers, right? This is really important to take the lead in this, because otherwise we'll be really left behind. Countries right now, they are fighting over AI, clearly, right? And we have to join this competition. We have to be part of this competition so that we can build the future. So just to get started, as we all know, software systems are so complicated, right? So this is an example of a software design that is already deployed on Amazon, right? So it's really, if you can take a look at it, you will quickly realize it's highly coupled. It's very hard for developers to understand, right? And it probably has a lot of clones and similar code, right? So this shows a lot of problems and challenges to sustain, to evolve, to maintain these kind of software systems. And therefore, developers are eager to adopt any solutions that can help them, maintain, evolve, and code and update these systems, right? So this explains quickly why, AI and agentic flow has been heavily adopted by big companies and big firms like Microsoft, Amazon, Google, because they have this kind of infrastructure that really needs agentic workflows, right? So and the agentic workflow is there, right? So we have a whole ecosystem right now that you can use as a developer, right, to build your models, right? And we have multiple layers with multiple frameworks that are available for everyone, actually, not just developers. Actually, this is for everyone, but obviously developers are people who are consuming these ecosystem very quickly because it's available and they can integrate that, right? So let me explain to you why this is interesting for us, right? So again, if you're a developer, right, if you have this kind of system, right, and you want now to integrate this ecosystem, right, you have a lot of issues, right? You'll find a lot of challenges, right, because this integration may not be straightforward, right? You have a lot of terminologies from software engineering, the systems, the coupling, the dependencies, the APIs, and from the other side you have the jargon of the AI, which is LLMs, right? Function calls, memories, etc. Right? So this integration, this area of integrating AI into software engineering or into existing software systems is going to be booming in the future, because developers or students always ask me, what is the area that I think I should focus on? Is it pure AI? And to me, the answer is everyone is jumping into AI, pure AI, but nobody's paying attention to the problems of integrating AI into existing systems. From the testing perspective, from the maintenance perspective, will be actually the future, is how to sustain AI-enabled systems, not just AI. So it's beyond just training a model. It's about deploying the model, testing the model, verifying the model's integrity, verifying its scalability, etc. So these are the issues that really will be prevalent in the future, because all the companies will be jumping into deploying using AI. But now you, as a developer, as a computer scientist, you'll be responsible for dealing with the problems of this kind of integration. So I think this is important, right? So let's look at what happened over the past 3 years, right? So in the past 3 years, we woke up in the morning in December 2022 and OpenAI announced ChatGPT, right? And all language models had been heavily adopted by everyone. Actually, is the fastest growing industry in the world right now, right? So, and it's all started with text. The input is text and the output is text, right? And then we realized that this text is so good that we wanted to do more with it, right? We realize that our problems cannot be just described in text, right? Why? Because if you want to, let's say, write the code, right? You have to use input in code. You want to input if you want to help this AI help you with your system. Yes.
Just خاطر شوية صوت. C'est bon, رجعنا. C'est bon.
Awesome. So as I was saying, so when you realize that these large language models are powerful, we wanted to feed them more, to give them more like in our systems, and we want them to act inside our systems. So we start developing solutions that can give them more context, right? So as we know, the LM started with a very small input window, and we started trying to increase this window input. We're trying to start feeding and squeezing information in this window using, people call it RAG, people call it context, people call it reasoning, whatever it is. The idea is how can we feed more information into the language model and we still get some text, right? And then we realized that once we saw that this is getting mature enough, we wanted now to integrate this directly into the system, right? It means we no longer want to just have us do this work. We want this work to be automated, right? So this is how this history of how language models were adopted. They first were purely text. Then we start thinking about how can we increase the window of the LLM? How can we feed more information to the LLM? And finally, how can we automate this whole workflow altogether? So this is how this was prompted, right? And why this is important, right? Because language models on themselves, they cannot do anything. This is me asking ChatGPT, about a ballpark in Grand Rapids, which is a city in Michigan, as you can see. And yeah, GPT can answer, yeah, this is the stadium. It's a nice stadium, whatever, right? But if I wanted ChatGPT to work on my own daily tasks, I would say, for example, tell me what is on my Amazon shopping list, or Spotify, or whatever website, or Facebook. Tell me about which post on my Facebook is the most popular. It would not be able to answer that information. Why? Because it requires third-party integration. It requires access to an API of Facebook. It requires accessing an API of Amazon. So this kind of information, if you do it off the shelf right now, you cannot have this information. Can we do this from the programming perspective? Of course we can do that. Of course you can integrate, language language models, and you can use them to call the API of Shopify or Amazon or Facebook or Meta. You can do that. And with some programming on the API backbone, you can now get this answer, right? Hi, Emily, whatever. So the summary, I'm using just acronyms here, right? So with some integration, this is possible. So it is possible to integrate those language models inside the backbone of systems, right? So now imagine us doing this for multiple systems, right? This is going to be difficult. Why? Because now you have to build some custom-made code for each type of service, whether it's Shopify or it's Google, Salesforce, whatever. You have to develop your own custom-made code that will integrate the language model with the service that you want to call or to use, right? And this integration is manual. Obviously, you have to read the API of the system that you want to use, and now you have to integrate this API and match it with the language model. And this is a lot of glue code, right? You have to know each API, understand each API separately, and then integrate this each API separately, and then write the right code that can connect the language model with the API. And this is a lot of manual work. And how many APIs do we have? Thousands, right? So if you're trying to build this model that can integrate, that can be inside the systems, it's going to be very hard to build this manually. And because of that, we needed some kind of protocol that can help us with the situation, right? Because if whenever you find yourself dealing with the situation, we are in need of a protocol. And this is where MCP came into the picture, right? And probably some of you have heard of MCP already, right? So this is how this MCP now, or what you call the model, protocol. So it can help us now, facilitate and automate this integration. So you no longer need to worry about the API, the third-party API. MCP will do that for you, right? So now we have MCP servers everywhere that can manage and become the third-party, of these systems. And this reminds us of third-party, systems like web, right? So we are using our experience in software architecture to build an architecture for those language models. Okay, so this is what I wanted to to talk about, and this it will give you no glue. It means now you can just seamlessly integrate language models with systems. And what that means that you can create now autonomous workflows. You can create language models that can, you can prompt them, and then they can let them just do everything on their own. They can get the answers and they can process the answers, right? And because of that, it became really a debate. And these are figures from keynotes all over the world. This was in Canada when I was attending, and people were building now fully agentic, frameworks. And also people from the other side were saying, no, if you do that, it will be harmful, because you are giving the power to AI to be the player and the judge, to create code and to deploy it without the human intervention. And this could be dangerous, okay? Because if AI, for example, is deploying a malicious code and the human is no longer in the loop, then this malicious code will go to production and can infect all the systems. So and because of language models are trained on vulnerable code, we know that GitHub, we know that language models are trained on GitHub, and GitHub is full of buggy code and vulnerable code. This can propagate vulnerable code and buggy code very quickly if we remove the human from the loop. So this is the conversation that is happening right now, is yes, fully agentic solutions are there, but should we use them right away without the humans? It's a debate. This is where the debate is happening right now in big conferences. So the question becomes, shall we adopt these solutions in practice, or this was in practice? And probably the answer is we have to check whether industry and systems are adopting agents or not, right? So this is the question. If I come and ask you right now, are companies using fully agentic solutions or not? What is the answer? You may guess yes or no, but in research we don't guess. We actually analyze. So today I will present to you what we have done in my team to understand whether the developers, whether industry is adopting agents or not. So what we have done, we started looking at pull requests on GitHub. We started mining, me and my team and a lot of other teams in Canada as well. We are mining over 1 million pull requests that was sent from hundreds of thousands of projects, and we are analyzing whether they are using agents or not, right? So this is what we are doing. So to do that, we also looked at a lot of systems on GitHub, right, which have over 10 stars. It means at least they are not toy projects, they are real projects with developers using them, right? And they are well-engineered projects. And we analyzed, back in these slides, we analyzed over 900,000 pull requests. It means these are changes done in their systems. And what you see from this figure is that the agents are on the rise. It means between January 2025, there was almost no agents in pull requests, in changes in code. And now in July 2025, we see a big hype for agents like Devon, Copilot, Cursor, Claude, OpenAI Codex are on the rise, and they are rising now, higher and higher in software development. And this number, so that we talk about, back in July, is 400,000 pull requests. In December, we reached 900,000 pull requests, and this trend is the same. It means it's still increasing. So those slides are a little bit outdated, but you understand, even in December, that the numbers are even more and higher, right? So, and this gives you this scary number. We're speaking of right now what? Almost 90% of pull requests are actually being now managed by AI, okay? So, which means that software development is being reshaped by agents. We are already there, right? We're speaking of transitioning from 10% AI, 90% human. In December 2025, from the projects we analyzed, we see 90% AI and 20% or to 80 to 90% AI, and the remaining is human. So this number is just insane, right? So, and this is as of today, right? So, and these agents are used used in multiple languages, as you can see: TypeScript, Python, Java, C++, Rust, Go. Of course, C Sharp. You know that these languages they're pretty much good at all different languages. But there is a lot of TypeScript code and Python code that is being pushed in GitHub right now using those agents. And the most popular agent, I can just probably use my pointer here quickly. So OpenAI Codex, obviously, and Copilot are really being heavily used, and this is because of their integration inside VS Code. So then, if you're a developer, or if you're a student, right, and you're using VS Code, most likely you can end up using Codex or using Copilot because it is integrated into your IDE when you are programming in your framework, and therefore it's easy for you to use it. You're working on a code. It says, "Hey, do you want me to fix this for you? You want me to do this for you?" You say yes. That's it. Now you have an agent writing code for you, and then you can just click and you can push this code. You can commit this code. You can push a pull request with using this code. So pretty much easy, right? So the good news. So by good and bad news, I'm talking about how agents are replacing us, right? The good news is the human pull requests are still accepted more by reviewers than agentic. It means agents have a lower rate of acceptance compared to humans. So humans, when they write code, they still reason about it. They still know the system better, so they can do less mistakes, right, than AI, than agents, right? But at the same time, the difference between the human pull request acceptance and the AI is it's not big. It means AI is catching. It's like it means they are able to produce near to human, results in terms of acceptance. It means, so again, for those who are not familiar, means the review. It means once you push a pull request, whether it's accepted or not, because a pull request, if the reviewers have to look at this and say whether this is fine or not. If the code is fine, it will be accepted. If the code is not fine, it will not be accepted. So here, the acceptance rate for human pull requests is still higher as of today than the agentic. Will this change? Probably yes in the future, because as agents learn more and become better, they can actually get closer or maybe even pass the human agentic, right? But what really matters because this chart might say, oh, then we are safe as human developers, we are safe, we will not be replaced by AI. The answer is no. Look at this. Look at this figure. Look at how long it takes from a change of an AI to be accepted versus a human. AI, usually the turnover time between the task started to task achieved is probably less than an hour for some agents, and within a few hours for others, right? With Codex is maybe 2 hours and a half, Copilot is 3 hours. Some others are really less, right? But for humans, it's almost a day between starting a task and getting it to be either accepted or rejected is almost a day. So the difference in time in terms of how task completion is, AI is significantly faster. It's even 24 times faster sometimes than humans. And for industry, this is a win. It means for industry, for a manager, they say, oh, if I can have AI, do this, then I can save up a lot of money, because tasks means money, right? So despite humans still being better in quality, AI is significantly faster, and I think every company is trying to reduce expenses, and they will use this as an alibi to say, I'm going to shift now to agents. I will not hire junior developers anymore. So this is what this is meaning. So again, and as you can see, 84% now is using AI. So if you are a developer and you're not using AI, you are out of the competition. You will not be able to compete with AI anymore. You have to be using agents to compete in this software development environment, right? So, and up to 51%. This means we are looking at this is the number coming from, one second. It's coming from 61,000 repositories with 47,000 developers. Almost half of them are using AI right now. This is what this is saying, right? So it's a huge number, okay? So this is a huge number. So these are all using some kind of AI. Okay, so this is important for you to know this. So yeah, if you are right now a computer scientist and you're not using AI, you are probably in the fewer population that is not now adopting this hype, right? So, and by my presentation, I'm not saying that AI is better or worse. I'm saying these are the numbers. I'm reporting the numbers from data mining perspective, from research perspective, right? It's up to you to interpret these numbers the way you think or the way you want, right? So, and we are right now in 2025, right? And the market for AI is $7 billion, right? And this number is predicted to be increasing, as you can see. This is just regression, prediction, analysis. You're just predicting, based on the growth of the pull requests. If we correlate the growth of the pull request to the market share, right? Then we are looking at $26 billion by 2030 would be the share for agents in the market, which is an insane number, obviously, right? So it will be just booming. And this number means what? Means that we will have less human developers, of course. I mean, this is what that means, because this money will come from that, right? So, yeah, coding assistants are there. They are pretty much changing how things work. They are saving a lot of time. If we look at the same developers before the adoption and after the adoption, we notice that they are now doing tasks easily, 55% faster. And this is a known study even from Copilot back in 2022, before even they released this, for everyone, right? And it's really makes things faster for you to do, right? Whether this is a good news or bad news for us, it is what it is, right? It makes things faster for us. It saves us a lot of time, and this is based on these analytics. And and yes, this means that will be thinking less about code, which is maybe true, but maybe we'll think about integration instead, right? So maybe you will no longer focus on the algorithmic side of things, but we'll be focusing more on the integration side of things. This is at least what these numbers are saying. So future direction, of course, what should you do right now is adopt AI, no questions about it. You have to learn these agents. If you are coding, you have to code with agents and see their strengths. You have to see their weaknesses, right? Learn how to benchmark them. Learn how to learn their mistakes, because they do a lot of mistakes. Even last week, one of my repos was broken because I was using an agent. The agent was called Warp, and it destroyed my repo, right? So if you do not pay attention to what they do, they can destroy, your code, right? So learn how to develop your own collaboration model, because instead of using AI to write your own code, you can use AI to collaborate with you, to review your code, to show you the weaknesses of your own code, right? To help you with repetitive tasks. For example, you can still write your algorithm, but let AI refine it, optimize it for performance, or you can use it to migrate between different versions. You can use it to switch from one language to another. These are all good uses of AI, at least to my perspective. Of course, governance is important. You have to declare when you are using AI. A lot of students right now, developers, are not declaring this. And if you don't declare, we don't know whether it was your effort or the AI effort, or the mistake that happened was your mistake or the AI mistake, right? So declaring and being explicit about it is very important for accountability perspective. And of course, you have to learn how to now develop some testing techniques for this new AI integration, and how can we sustain it for the future. So, yeah, the future of software engineering is changing, and this is not just me speculating. These are what I have found in GitHub. GitHub is shifting right now to becoming fully agentic, development, and probably in 2026 we will see this number increase even further. What that means is we have to now take that into account when we are testing and when we are modeling and using software. And this stops. I think I should stop here because I've been talking for long, and I hope that you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Yeah. On behalf of the entire EID's 25 organizing team participate students here at API physically and online, I want just to thank you, as usually, for your excellent masterclass today on automated machine learning and technical and AI systems. I have some question before going to question from the participated students or from the software engineer here or the, the professor here from API school. So I want to ask you about how to automate machine learning with some manual and automated tools. Give us some recommendation. What are the difference between manual techniques? You mentioned right now in this masterclass on the keynote, there's two kind. There's manual from 1,000 API and automated, or let's say it agentic techniques or agentic methods to integrate
Y-
those guys.
Yes, yes. So these techniques that I'm talking about, they
How
are
we can,
available. So yes, I mean it becomes
yes,
so easy to do this, by the way. So can you hear me?
We are, yes, we are
Yes.
hearing you.
So if I go to my Chrome, for instance, let me just show you one thing. No, I picked the wrong one. Chrome. If I pick this Chrome, I'm gonna show you one thing quickly. Okay. So if I use Jules, for example, so I hope it's gonna open. Here we go. So this is an agent, right? So it's so easy right now to just using agents. As you can see, you can pick, what kind of you know, model you want to use, language model, and now you can easily do whatever you want with this, right? You can discuss what you want to do. For example, right now, this is connected to my repo. As you can see, in Cower multi-objective, right? And I can say, diagnose, for example, diagnose memory leak, right? I can just ask it to review this code, right? I can just type this, and now a task has been created, right? And it's now going to be running on my repo, booting a virtual machine automatically, right? And it's going to be now looking at my code. It's going to be cloning my code. So all these different, instructions that we used to say, git clone, whatever, and then run some tools like PMD or find bugs or spot bugs or these multiple tools that can check for multiple issues in your code. Now
yeah.
it's just now 3 words: diagnose memory leak, and now all these 3 words now will be transformed into multiple instructions that can be executed online, as you can see, and give you some results.
Awesome, awesome. So, second question from my side. Okay, we can use it for personal issues or personal fractional coding. Okay, from GitHub, your browser, whatever you want to get to the API. If my case, I have a team of, I give an example, 30 engineer or
Oh yeah, absolutely,
or
because you can work
how,
in.
how,
Yeah,
how how we can collaborate all this shift with my staff, with my startup or my company. Let's say company, not startup company, b- between 20 to 30 engineers in the same company.
absolutely. This is excellent question, Mohammed, because I think this is important. This is an important research direction because we want to learn how can we now, shift the work style or the process of development that now integrate those language models or these agents, right? It will change how we work for sure. Especially if you have 30 developers right now and you have AI with them. Now you're starting to feel like you have to rethink about how can you shift tasks. Will you be using pure agents for tasks? Are you going to be using humans with agents together? This is actually a research direction that is, I think, important for all of us. If you are here, think about how AI should be integrated into the teams because this will impact, industry right now. And I think it's a question, Mohammed, that you asked is a question that every single industry is asking right now. How can we integrate? How can we put and you asking this question means you perfectly understood the problem. We don't know. The answer is there is no answer for now on what is the perfect way to do this, except for replacing humans. And this could be a problem, right? So if we are just replacing humans with agents, we are not doing the right thing. We have to still have humans in the loop because humans can decide about these things. For example, I'm going to use this example, right? So it tells, are you approving this plan? It means it says that it's going to be reading those files, and then you're going to modify this population.java for memory management, right? And then build the project and then verify the leak is fixed or not. So it's providing, it's detecting a leak and it's fixing the leak, and you can approve the plan or not. If I approve this plan, that's it. It means I have given my okay that this is a good, X action, and I agree with the agent because population.java. I know my code because I wrote this code 10 years ago. I know the population.java is a very heavily used class, and therefore optimizing this class is important. So I'm going to approve this plan, right? So this will show you that the human needs to be still in the loop, right? And the human is still to make a decision. But is this going to be approved by everyone? Is everyone's going to be not using pure AI in the future? That I don't know. But excellent question.
Yeah, I can continue the recommendation for staff or for software companies. You know everybody that Muhammad Kaur right now he collaborating with JetBrain.
Yeah, I mean, I collaborate with multiple companies. I was 2 weeks ago, I was in Seattle visiting Microsoft, JetBrains. I work right now with Meta, MATLAB, right? MathWorks. I collaborate with them. Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing that humans are still there, and I will try to see if that changes, I can keep you posted if you want. So if I see any changes to that, then I can keep you posted. But so far, but at the same time, there is a lot of layoffs. A lot of people are getting fired from IT. By the way, I'm a blunt guy. I have to tell you the truth. But I don't know whether it's because of AI or because of the whole economical situation in the United States. I don't know which one is responsible for that, because the number of developers that are being hired right now is less than before. But whether this is because of AI or not, I don't know. I think also is the economy is also responsible for this problem.
I have a special question for students or for young developers. How can I automate machine learning tools? How to reduce entry barriers? Expertise, such Tunisian startup or student, and develop an AI application without deep coding experience, Dr. Rian.
Well, I think what. So probably I
That's
can. I'm sorry.
yeah, go ahead, go. I just given some example like tools,
Yeah. I think one thing you should master right now is the integration is becoming the sale point, right? A lot of people want to use AI right now. So if you are working on MCP, for example, technology, right? If you're trying to first, yeah, this could be something you should learn, because a lot of systems are there. We have a lot of existing systems, and we have a lot of AI tools. The integration now is important. So if you want to have an idea for a startup, if you want to have an idea for entrepreneurship, try to work on the area of integration. Try to help people have a better experience integrating AI into their
Definitely,
systems.
definitely,
You
yeah.
know, this is very important, right? And having a good experience is not easy because their systems is huge, and you have to figure out where in the systems AI would not be fatal, will not be crashing, will not be causing problems, where it is safe to be used in the systems, right? So I think this is the area where your recommendation is key to success for AI, is how can you integrate this AI into the systems in a way that makes it seamless and be more accepted. Because as you can see here from my presentation, AI, when it's used everywhere, it's not accepted, as you can see, right? So acceptance rate here,
Yes, too
it could
hard,
be
too hard.
even it could be even almost half. It means half of the pull requests that we are submitting are getting rejected because they are wrong, right? So figuring out where to integrate AI into the system to make it more accepted is key for success.
Definitely. Yeah, yeah. So, let's move to questions from the students or the professors here.
Alors, merci beaucoup, Monsieur Mohamed Oué, pour la qualité de la présentation, pour la pertinence des exemples aussi. Merci, Dr Mohamed Zeda, pour les questions que vous venez de poser. Je vais céder la parole à nos étudiants qui sont ici présents parmi nous. Je ne sais pas s'il y aura des questions à poser. Alors.
وجميع مسيش احكيو حتى بالعربي راهو انجلش فرنش Arabic
تعرف
معناها I'm okay معناها don't worry about it.
En fait,
Alors, on a une première question.
salut monsieur, juste petite question على القلت قبيلة تنصح العباد باش يستعملوا les MCP qui par exemple عندهم des idées باش يبداو ستارت اب وكل. اسكو تنجم تعطي البرسبكتيف نتاعك ابروبو كيفاش واحد يحول الايدي الى ستارت اب ولا الى تك ستارت اب تولي بزنس كبير من بعد en utilisant les technologies que tu as mentionnées.
Yeah, of course. توا كي تحكي انا باش نحكي معك مخلط ما حكيت معايا سؤال باش نجاوبك بنفس الطريقه اللي سالتني بها. كي تحكي على ستارت اب توا التلامذه فاش يخموا هما they are building their own models, right? And I think this is the wrong thing to do. علاش؟ خاطر it's too expensive to build your own model. ما بصراحه ما عندناش انفراستراكشر في تونس، ما عندناش خاطر في امريكا تراو باش open AI what they do right now is insane. عباره معمل كبير وعنده عنده الانرجي كونسامبشن نتاعو. احنا في ميشيغان باش يحلوا لنا عباره معمل نتاع اوبن اي اي. معناها اوبن اي اي it's not just الاي اي اللي تشوفيه في الكمبيوتر. in reality هو بنيه كبيره وفيها برشا ضوء وفيها برشا حاجات. So to have that level of infrastructure in Tunisia, to be honest, is too expensive. فهمت كيفاش؟ So what we should be doing like what Chinese is doing. They're taking ChatGPT and they are refining it into DeepSeek or whatever, right? So refining AI is key. وهما déjà all the spin-off, all the startups that you see, spin-off of them, they are taking AI models and they are adding some context, some reasoning, refining it to become a product, right? That's what's working in the market right now. معناها كي تحل انت like perplexity وكلهم معناها what they are doing or Poppy.ai وغيرهم, what they are doing is they are refining AI to a specific need. So what you can do is you have to still use AI, the actual language model, and then you have to refine it to a specific community, right? And this is, I think, is key for success. Don't build your own AI. You will not win that way. You have to refine AI and you have to make sure you know where it succeeds. ريت لهنا if you want to start thinking about okay how can I use, and I'll take example معناها if you want to really know where to start, كان جيت أنا في بلاستيك, I will start looking at where the pull requests are getting rejected, right? Because that's when you learn where we have a problem with AI. And if you, for example, تجب تشوف انت هنا تلقى انه مثلا فما مشكله في المigration API whenever you are trying to migrate between مثلا Java to C++ ولا from C++ to Rust. This is a famous, by the way, this is a famous migration right now. معناها كان تعرف انت كيفاش تعمل تحول من C++ to Rust, you can be a successful startup right now. خاطر it's a lot of companies are moving from C++ to Rust because Rust is safe than C++, safer. If you and language models cannot do this translation very easily. كان انت عندك ايديه باش تنجم تعمل migration between C++ to Rust in a correct way at the appropriate context, the appropriate knowledge graph. You want to use knowledge graph, you want to use whatever, and you make this work, you can build a startup that can make money right now in this industry. معناها you have to see where things are not perfect. خاطر انت كان عندك انت area الاي AI ديجا فيها perfect, why would you build a startup on this, right? You have to build a startup where AI is still lacking and the human knowledge is needed to develop and to push AI to be successful. I think these are the areas that are important. So you have to dig. And this dataset, for example, that I'm sharing with you right now is a perfect place to start. We have a lot of rejected pull requests, why they're rejected and where AI is not doing perfect is where you should start. I hope this answers your question. سافا واضحة الفكرة؟
اي واضحة مسيو. دونك هو دونك كان عندك ايدي نامبورت كيل دومين في تونس, دونك جوست ناخذ حاجة ديجا بري تريند اي نفاين توني على اساس لي سبيسيفيكاسيون اللي حاب نخدم عليهم سولون السوليسيون اللي جاتني في مخي, اي من بعدها ديريكتومون ننصي منها حاجة.
واهم حاجه الادد فاليو نتاعك كان هو ديجا الاي اي في الدومين هذاك ناجح, what's your added value. ما لازم تشوف area اللي هي ديجا فيها مشكله حتى مع الاي اي، وانت you add your own value باش تحسن في البرفورمانس تاع الاي اي. that is very important. فهمتني؟
كيما يقول دكتور وئام كي نحكيو بين ناس، يقول لي محمد جيب لي ايشيو نحل لك ايشيو، ما تعطينيش بيزنس، اعطيني ايشيو نحل لك.
ايه
That's
لازم
right
تفهم بروبلم
دكتور.
بالضبط، معناها مش solution. you have to find the
هي
problem first.
فضفضة
exactement
من عندك،
محمد.
فضفضة من عندك صحيح.
ايه بالضبط،
اعطيني
معناها
بروبليم ما تعطينيش سولوشن.
فوالا اعطيني بروبلم مش
بروبليم.
solution. بالضبط.
لا والله another question قبل ما نخلي الكلوتور نتاع الواحد. LLMs need GPUs but SLM run on normal computing. Merge to SLM not LLMs. If you are a student ولا startup ولا you don't have money enough to build your own business الحقيقة. So merge to SLM, and SLM is not like YOLO. YOLO is not LLM. It's not LLM, Dr. William. YOLO SSD for detection. I give other example like other OCR version LVM. You know LVM, large vision models. So LLMs just for biggest problems, not biggest problem, for biggest diverse conversation, diverse application or multiple model response. You know, باش انت you detect issue ولا problem, please don't use LLM وانت تخدم على just simple سيرفر ولا حتى عندك سيرفر عادي. احنا تو عندنا ما نجمش نعمل ببليسيتي للبروجي نخدم فيه توا في السعوديه. عندنا بطبيعه الحال تو نتاع جي بي يو.
وي
تعرف الكوست نتاع الجي بي يو برشا غاليه على الكلاود، حتى على الامازون يوصل دقيقه نتاعو تفكر بالباهي تبني موديل فور 1 2 3 كلاينت، وتبني معناتها تبني من الاول الموديل نتاعك من الاول. حتى معنا بارمي ليكيب محمد ديديكاس محمد علي معنا يخدم معنا في بروجي على الايماتولوجي وعلى الان اف اس. صارت لنا المشكله هذه، يعني انت ماذا بيك تبني 1 كلاينت 2 كلاينت، بعد تحكي على فور اكزامبل اي 100 ان في اي 100 ولا دوتر ماشين كبار يوصلوا يكلفوا هكذا. دونك نبداو تعطيني نصيحه كيفاش نبداو سكيل يور ابليكيشن فروم سمول موديل ولا اس ام حتى يكش نفكروا في جي بي يوز فور كومبيوتينج اند دوين انفرنس. يعني بعد ما تعمل موديل دوين انفرنس هو مشكلتنا في تونس، مشكلتنا حتى في السمول ستارت اب. انت عندك موديلز we say LLM 2 billion parameters مش from 1 ولا حتى 0.9 ولا 8 ونحكيو على LLM، ما تحكيش عليهم LLM.
وي
هذه بروبليم اللي صارت لنا. your recommendation or your يعني
well I mean the bon recommendation surtout توا معناها to keep it for the student level. معناها I think you should learn how to live with AI. معناها توا انتم تقراوا مش تقراوا وغيره. Maybe I will give just one piece of advice. This is very important. خاطر with the age of AI it is easy to be taken by the flow. ايش معناها تولي انت تستعمل AI for everything and this is dangerous. علاش؟ هي الحكايه سامبل ياسر. If you are training yourself to be replaced by AI, you will be replaced by AI. معناها if you are giving AI to do your homework, to do your work for you, to do your reports for you, to think for you, guess what? You are training yourself for failure. معناها this is very important for you to realize this right now. معناها نعاود نقول لك مرة أخرى, if you are training yourself to be replaced by giving AI everything to do, you will be replaced in the future. معناها ديجا أنت وأنت étudiant AI عمل لك كل شيء. So what's your added value now, right? Then you end up being replaced in the future. معناها so you have to be careful. You have to be trained in a way not to be replaced by AI. You can still use AI in the smart way and not get replaced by AI. That's it. How? This is the key question that you have to think about from now on. From Mantawa, whenever you're using AI, if you are using AI in a way to replace you, you have to stop doing that and still have your own genuine human touch that will keep you distinguished from AI.
Sure. We must finish this session. Thank you so much.
Alors, monsieur, juste docteur Mohamed, s'il vous plaît,
And
juste
your friends for
une
me.
autre question. Je ne sais pas si vous m'entendez.
Oui.
Ici, on a encore une autre question de la part de notre étudiant de l'ISATSUS.
Hello.
مرحبا.
I want to ask you about the idea, should we focus more on monolithic AI or more on the part of modular AI in the future and now?
I think whichever is you have access to. معناها أنا تو مثلا I don't choose between that. معناها أنا University of Michigan dictates what AI I should be using. معناها في الآخر it's not my choice. مثلا هنا Jules I'm using, it's not my choice. كي نحل أنا هنا مثلا UM GPT, I don't have a choice. معناها شنو نوريك أنا قدامك معناها I don't have a choice. It's they dictate what should I be using. استنى خلينا نحلو لحظة بركة. معناها فهمتني. ها هو what do you see here is what. ما تعرفش عليه whether it's modular or monolithic. You don't know. What you see is you see a bunch of models, right, that you can choose from and you can use. And this is UMGPT. It means this is the LLM of University of Michigan, right? The university that I belong to. للأسف في تونس ما عندناش توا العقلية متاع we develop our own, by the way, this is not our own model. This is a ChatGPT which is compliant with University of Michigan guidelines. معناها it's FER parity. FER parity معناها I can use it to put I can put my name, I can put my code, I can put my student's name, my student's code, and it's safe. OpenAI will preserve the integrity and the privacy of my information. لهنا this is important. معناها أنا الرأي ذي أهم من كل شيء إنه we have to في تونس we have to start building agreements with OpenAI and build our own Tunis GPT or ISATSUS GPT or Qartaj GPT, because this way we can fine tune the model with agreement with OpenAI. معناها هنا راي OpenAI مصحح كونترا مع OpenAI إنه نحن this is our own model and they have to comply with our rules and our regulations. وإلا if we don't do it this way we are doomed. تو ما نستعملش أنا الشات جي بي تي بتاع OpenAI, مستحيل, ممنوع علي أصلا. It's against the rules. I have to use my Michigan GPT because it is compliant with the regulations of my job. معناها قبل كل شيء this is a compliance problem.
Yes. We discussed it before. إن شاء الله فهم الكيستيون ولا فهم البوينت اوف فيو اللي حكيت عليها توا. خلينا نفسرهم بالعربي. يعني هم ما همش انتردي عليهم يستعملوا جي بي تي ولا حاجه، اما هم بارلوا
لا في الخدمه انتردي في الخدمه. معناها ما عنديش الحق نستعمل البابليك جي بي تي. ما عنديش حق نستعمل بابليك جي بي تي. ما عنديش حق نستعمل بابليك جي بي تي في الخدمه. I have to use this GPT في الخدمه.
خاطر لي زانفورماسيون كلهم باش تاجي
فوالا باش يكونوا confidential بالضبط.
Any more question about software engineer based on AI ولا
باش نرجع للسؤال نتاعو. This interface does not tell you whether it's modular or monolithic. You don't know. What you will see is always interfaces. معناها في الاخر انت تتعامل مع انترفاس. فهمتي؟ دونك الانفراستركتور مونتالي ما تهمش برشا. خاطر في الاخر we don't control that most likely. It's controlled by OpenAI. لكن انت what you control is this. معناها انت if you want to open a startup that can build compliance نتاع OpenAI في تونس, this will be great because companies they need that. Voila.
API schools students محمد بن علي, دكتور وفاء, دير بروفيسور, عندكمش دي اخرين ريكومانداسيون؟ فوالا ندخلوا في السيسيون من بعد شويه. our share ambassador.
سلام. أنا دكتور
No,
محمد.
تفضل.
عندي هو جوست عندي ريمارك، يعني كان في تونس. حشتنا جوست الانفراستركتور اللي تخليك انك تعمل ديبلويمنت تاع اوبن سورس موديل كيكا تنجم نحكوا على سيكوريتي اكثر من اللي بون اكثر من اللي نمشوا للاوبن اي اي، يعني خاطر هما فاتحين دي كونترا ما تضمنش اسكو بالرسمي ولا بيسكو لي دوني انت تبعت فيهم الغادي، اللي ريكويست نتاعك تبعت فيهم الغادي. دونك نتصور كي تبدا عندك انفراستراكشر وتنجم تعمل ديبلويمنت نتاعك، عندك انت تاع او حكم عندك الاوبن سورس لموديل اوبن سورس، نتصور خير من. اما مالوريزمون ما عندناش الجي بي يو اللي يخلينا نعملوا هذا في تونس.
بالضبط فوالا سي اكزاكتومون سا. ما ماناش في سيتوياسيون تسمح لنا باش نعملوا اور اون جي بي يوز وغيره، لذلك وي دونت هاف ا تشويس الا وي يوز اوبن اي ايز معناها انفراستراكشر. وانا توا معناها في الاخر انا I cannot guarantee انه اوبن اي not using my information، لكن نعرف انه يونيفرسيتي ميشيغان معناها كان اوبن اي تستعمل الدنيا نتاعها باش تشكي بها، فهمت معناها، وعندهم كيفاش يشكيو بيهم وعندهم كيفاش ياخذوا منهم حقهم. اما في تونس ما تنجمش تاخذ حقك من اوبن اي اي، ما واضحه العمليه. فاي اجري وذ يو، لكن للاسف وي دونت هاف ا تشويس للاسف.
اكزاكتومون
هو
مالوريزمون ما عندناش حل اخر.
ما عندناش حل اخر.
هو نجموا نستعملوا الفيرشن اللي قدم، يعني نجم ناخذوا الفيرشن. على فكره دكتور وئام حكينا بالبيه قبل، تفكر انا حكيت على التيم واللي نلعب في اللي قدم، وانتم قبل ما يبدا جي بي تي اصلا في خرج قبل الكوفيد كنت تخدم في الجينيتيك اي اي، كنت تفكر
اي
انا كنت حكينا على البلان هذايا قبل ما تحكي لي كنت تحضروا في تشات بوتس، مش جي بي تي، تشات بوتس. انا نفكر مش ما نقولوا جي بي تي، كنتوا تخدموا في تشات بوتس
اي
اون
تشات بوتس
باراليل مع.
نتاع اي نتاع جيت برينز. وقتها خدمت مع جيت برينز، خدمنا على تشات بوتس، وخدمنا كيفاش وي كان انتجريت معناها اي اي في الاي دي اي في شو اسمه في سي لاي. لا خدمنا في وقتها في انتليجي، كيفاش نحسنوا في الديتكسيون تاع الكلونز في انتليجي وغيره. وي كنا نستعملوا في الاي اي وما زلنا نستعملوا في الاي اي في الاخر في الاي دي ايز. لكن توت فما كونفرساسيون، زادت الكونفرساسيون بين الديفلوبر وبين الاي اي اللي خلت الوضعيه تتبدل برشا، خلينا نقول. فوالا.
Alors, y aura-t-il une autre
باهي
question?
دكتور وفاء بحب يخلوا الدكتور وفاء سي محمد دكتور ويان. فريمون نحب نستغل الفرصه اللي ان شاء الله ليديسيون الجاي اي دي اس باش يحضر في عندنا اي ترابل اي بعضنا ان شاء الله. دوزيام اديسيون كانت في تونس، باش تجيو ان شاء الله الاي بي ان شاء الله معنا. زاد كيف عندنا نحضروا في اي اي اكسبو باورد باي اي اي دايز ان شاء الله في فرنسا، ومع الدياسبورا اللي جات واللي وحتى اللي اونلاين. يعطيكم الف صحه، بارك الله فيكم. دكتور وئام ايش تنصح توا البي اف اي ستودنتس؟ انا ديما نقول لهم حتى اللي ما لقاش ستاج ولا نلقاو كل ستاجات مع بعضنا ان شاء الله. اللي يحب يخرج كيف نعملوا كولابوراسيون ما بين الريف اللي في تونس حتى الفاكولتي اللي قبل باش تكون هوست ايفنت for our AI days in collaboration with Big Semantic. So علاش ما ينجموش يمشيوا يعملوا ستاج برا وبعد يحلوا ستارت ابس؟ والا علاش ما يعملوش فيها في از ستارت اب؟ انا ديما نقولها فيها في از ستارت اب، خاطر ثم شفت برشا موديل ما مشاوش لقاو ستاج، عملوا ستارت اب عند رواحهم وقبلوا ستاجيرات وهم مازالوا في ستاتيو تاع بي اف او. شوف الماتوريتي. فوالا هذا
هو سكي سور السيتياسيون في تونس صعبة ياسر. دونك انك you build your own startup وتتعلم منها. This is one model that I think is useful. It's not easy of course, but I think it's better than waiting. خاطر في الاخر انا كنت في تونس قبل وقيت في تونس وعملت ستاجات في تونس، ونعرف كيف ستاجات معناها ما كانوش سهلين اصلا، معناها ما كانوش حتى ساعات يوسفول اصلا معناها to be honest معناها. وهذا نحكي كثير ونحكي على 15 سنه تالي معناها، فهمت معناها كانت الامور اسهل شويه، الامور اصعب برشا في تونس. ديكو انك you make your own spin off معناها ستارت اب. I think this is one model that we have to push. على خاطر في الاخر معناه you can make money that way and you can be competitive in the market that way. بيان سور فما مشاكل اخرين في تونس في حكايه الستارت اب، معناها خلي الناس اللي تفهم في الحكايه ديك تحكي عليهم. امانه امانه راها سوليسيون اسهل من انك تتوش في ستاج، انك you make your own you make your own company right away is better than waiting for someone to give you a job. صحيح.
Okay, I finished my questions.
يعطيك الصحة يا محمد، يعطيك الصحة سي وئام، توت ليكيب، سي محمد علي، سي هيفا بن صابر، لابوغاتوار لاتيس.
مرحبا
عايشك قمت الفوق في السيرتيفيكاسيون خاطر.
ميرسي. عايشك يا مدام. ميرسي.
عايشك وئام، ça fait un grand plaisir.
ميرسي عايشك.
وان شاء الله نتولي كيما نقولوا نحن نتولي كيما العاده، كل اشهر نعاودوه حتى اونلاين ما ثماش مشكله. راه الدكتور محمد ويام والله العظيم رامي ورود او باش نحكي بالعربيه بلغه اللغه التوانسيه.
سي با لو مومون محمد، سي با لو مومون.
اي الانسان بالحق راهو بالرسمي انا نحب نعرف به في تونس صافي ديزاني ديما نقول لازم في تونس تجي حتى حقيقه في الكوبيس نتاعو في الريسيرش وفي السوفت وير بارطاجي معكم الجيت هوب نتاعو الحقيقه واو. ما عرفتش تنجم تكلاسي بارمي توب 1 معناتها في الدومين نتاعو الحقيقه. الريسيرش نتاعو ما شاء الله، من غير ما نحكي على ريسيرش جيت قداش من بوبليكاسيون مهبطها، غنيه على التعريف وغنيه حتى على البوبليكاسيون. كي يقول اجا سي محمد نعمل ارتيكل مع بعضنا سي محمد اللي برا
لاباس نحبوا نحن توا نعاونوا الجينيراسيون الجديده، وربي معنا كل الناس الكل. يعطيك الصحه يا محمد، انت زاد يعطيك الصحه، عملت ايفينمون هايل وان شاء الله الناس الكل تستنفع منه، ونقعد ان شاء الله على اتصال واللي يسحق اي حاجه ام افيلبل يكلم محمد وانا مور ذان هابي تو سبورت ان شاء الله.
اللي بي على ذمتك تعطيك تحكي معك وفاه توا على بي تنجم تعمل ديفينيسيون صغيره كان تحبوا قبل ما نكلوتوري.
Encore une fois, on vous remercie au nom du groupe EPI. Merci beaucoup, Sylvie. Et nous rendons en contact, bien sûr, Inch'Allah, pour on est très satisfait de la qualité de la présentation, la qualité des réponses et tout. Inch'Allah, excellente continuation. Merci.
Merci. عايشك. بسلامة يا جماعة.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.